Thank you all for joining us tonight and continuing to be here and being part of the discussion. And I've received a number of messages from other people who have been viewing this on YouTube, and so that's been very good. And some people from Europe. I got a message from somebody from Germany. I got a message from another fellow from Turkey. So I know that other people are very interested in this. I know there's another fella in Spain
How do these people find out about it?
doing, searching around, poking around in YouTube,
Oh, okay.
and we've got a bunch of keywords that, people are
Oh,
putting
all right.
into their search, you know, device, that things will pop up, that they might find us that way. All right, so
In a word, they have the karma to find it.
that too.
Hmm?
Yes, that too. Absolutely. Yeah. In the Buddha, the Dharma, and the
Yeah,
Sangha, most
almost
excellent.
excellent.
I take refuge until
Refuge until
enlightenment is
enlightenment
reached.
is reached.
By the merit
The
of
merit of
generosity and other
generosity
good
and other
deeds,
good deeds,
may I attain
attain
Buddhahood for the
Buddhahood for the
sake of
sake
all
of all
sentient
sentient
beings.
beings.
In the Buddha, the
The
Dharma, and the
Dharma,
Sangha,
Sangha,
most
most
excellent.
excellent.
I take
I take
refuge
refuge
until
until
enlightenment is
enlightenment
reached.
is reached.
By the merit of
Merit of
generosity and
generosity
other
and
good
other
deeds,
good deeds.
may I attain
May I
Buddhahood
attain
for the
Buddhahood for
sake
the
of all
sake of all
sentient
beings.
beings. Sangye
Sangeto
Tang Soki Chonam La
Chonamla
Shangshu Padu Ni Kapsu
Kapsuchi
Tagi Jinso Ki
Sogi
Saki
Sonaki
Drola
Drola
Penchir
Penche
Sange
Sange Drupa Sho
Basho. May all mother sentient beings, boundless as the
boundless as the
sky,
sky,
have
have
happiness and the
happiness and the
causes of
causes of
happiness.
happiness.
May they be liberated from
Liberated from
suffering and the
suffering and the
causes of
causes of
suffering.
suffering.
May they never
They
be
May
never
never
be
be
separated
separated
from
from
the
separated from the
happiness.
happiness that is
happiness that
free
is
from
free from
sorrow.
sorrow.
May they
May they
rest in
rest in
equanimity,
equanimity,
free
free
from
from
attachment and
attachment and
aversion.
aversion.
May all mother sentient
Sentient
beings,
beings,
boundless as the
boundless as the
sky,
sky,
have
have
happiness and the
happiness and the
causes of
causes of
happiness.
happiness.
May they be
May they be
liberated from
liberated from
suffering and the
suffering and the
causes of
causes of
suffering.
suffering.
May they never be
May they never be
separated from the
separated from the
happiness that is
happiness that
free
is
from
free from
sorrow.
sorrow.
May they
May
rest
they
in
rest in
equanimity,
equanimity,
free from
free from
attachment and
attachment and
aversion.
aversion. Nam
Manakadamyam
Kada
pesam
Chim Chin
chentam she
Tam Che
devadam
Vadam
dewe
Dewe
gadam
Yudam De
dampa
Kagyu
jochi.
Chik
Dugnal dang
Dang
dunal gi
Dang Ye
dang
Gyu
trawa
Wagyu
jochi.
Chik
Dugnal me pe dewa dang
Dang
gi trawa
Wagyu
jochi.
Chik
Nay ring chak dang ni dang
Dang
twelve Rang nam la nay pa cho
George,
chi. Whatever merit I've gathered through prostration, offering, confession, rejoicing, beseeching, and praying, for the sake of the enlightenment of all sentient beings, all this I dedicate. Chaksa wadang cho ching sa pa dang, Jesu yi rang kol sing so wa yi, ke wa jung ze da gi ji sak pa, tam je zog pe shang zhub chen o. Okay. Um, then we go to page for the pacification. We go to page I think it's 7.
What page?
Page 14.
Mhm.
And who hasn't had a chance to recite this? Larry, have you recited this? Page 14.
Some of it, I don't remember what.
Would you recite this, please, for us? And the English part on the on page 14, that paragraph on the right-hand side, I know it's small print, but can you recite that first and then the mantra and then the text after that?
Just a second.
Oh, yeah.
It is the unified intention of the body, speech, and mind of the 42 peaceful and 58 wrathful deities of the great Buddha field that displays the wisdom that cuts through all ignorance to manifest their wisdom for the benefit of the enlightenment of all sentient beings. Do you want me to read the Tibetan?
Please.
Om Ahung Bodhicitta Mahasukha Jana Dahatu Ah Om Rulu Rulu Hum Bayahum. From the field of reality's experience, uncreated and pure, with a celestial palace within a celestial palace, which is a seminal point of light, pure, unceasing, and radiant, through the natural expressive power of one's own mind, uncontrived and empty, intrinsic awareness, radiant and empty, arises in the form of Vajrasattva, seated upon a bejeweled throne adorned with lotus sun and moon cushions. The right hand holds a vajra at the heart, symbolizing the union of awareness of absolute wisdom and emptiness. The left hand supports a bell resting on the hip, symbolizing the union of wisdom, appearance, and emptiness. And the head is adorned with a garland of perfect Buddhas, representing the five enlightened families of the three gone to bliss. Thus, Vajrasattva manifests in the form of the Buddha body of perfect resource, exquisitely adorned with silk and jewels, seated in the posture of royal ease, and the right leg extended and the left drawn in. Radiating at the heart is the seed syllable Hung, surrounded by the 100-syllable mantra. Om Vajra Sattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajra Sattva Tenupa Tristatridu Mebawa Sutakaya Mebawa Supakaya Mebawa Anarakta Megawa Sarasiti Mebia Sarakam Zutsame Siddham Sri Ram Kuru Hung Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Saratatagada Benzama Moza Benzi Pwamo Samaya Sato Ah. How many do you want me to repeat it?
Oh, please, twice. Two more times.
How many?
Two
Three?
more times. Three
Yeah,
altogether.
got it.
Ju-
Om Bhagavasattva Samaya Malapalaya Vajrasavatena Vajrastrita Megawa Sutkaya Megawa Supakaya Megawa Anarakta Megawa Sarasiti Maybe at the Zarakama Sutsame Siddham Shriram Kuru Hang Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Saradatikata Benzamai Moza Benzibamatsam Sato Ah. Ye Dharma Hetu Prabhuwa Hetunde Kun Tatigata Iwadata Kun Sioni Rode Yuam Badi Mahashamani So Ah. Bajra Sattva Samaya Malapalaya Bajra Savatena Bajra Street of Megawatts, Sikai Megawatts, Sikai Megawatt, Honorak Megawatt, Saraziti maybe at the Zarakam Suits May, Sidma Sri Ram Kuru Hang, Ha 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 Ho, Bhagawan, Saradadigata, Benzamai, Wamla Samaya Sato, Ah.
Very good. Thank you very much. All right. So there's a couple things I wanted to make a point. The Bardo of reality. What we've been talking about has been the Bardo of reality, where the Sambhogaya deities and so on. And this is symbolic of being a human being, what it is to be a human being, and it's put into these terms and this iconography and so on, so that we
Is that another name for Samsara, the Bardo of reality? I mean, that's what we're in, right? Is the Bardo of reality?
it is the phenomenal nature of the Bardo of reality that we see and so on, and that we are interpreting in our lives in this Bardo of reality. So we're
Okay.
using this iconography to help us to recognize the purity of that. It comes from that which what we would call the absolute reality. There's two truths: the absolute reality, the absolute truth, and the phenomenal truth. So we are, immersed in this ocean of suffering, this samsara. But within this samsara is a level, we could say, of nirvana. And that's what we are aspiring to. And that nirvana, if we can stabilize that, becomes the gateway to the absolute um, truth, the absolute reality. So that's the point. We see that this is like a mirror. And so all these images, all these meanings, and so on have their function, are playing out in our ordinary lives as human beings. So this is an observance to be able to recognize that and to be able to bring in their purity and be able to transform whatever negative things that we have that are expressed as the afflictive emotions, the mental misconceptions, and the habitual tendencies. So this is what we're trying to overcome, these three obscurations to that pure nature. So with that in mind, just keeping that in mind, because I think it's important to be able to do that this is a human being story. This is a human being narrative. The reason why we are doing this, I'm going to screen share something with you now. Um, I presume you can see this. Let me just make some room on my desktop here. Okay. So the reason we are doing this is to overcome the dissonant mental states. So here the dissonant mental states are well defined as fundamental ignorance, which we're all familiar with, attachment, we're familiar with that, aversion, pride, doubt, and the affliction, the afflicted or dissonant views. So those things we're familiar with, but the dissonant, the word dissonant is to is discord, out of harmony. So this is the six of the mental afflicted states. So these here are the main ones, but there are
Is that
20.
is afflicted or dissident views equivalent to wrong view?
Yes, yes, exactly. So these 20 subsidiary mental states, these are other things. This is part of what we say that the habitual tendencies are moving us toward the habitual tendencies that we have for anger, for malice, for dissimulation, fury, envy, miserliness, dishonesty, deception, arrogance, mischief, indecorum, indecency, obfuscation, agitation, distrust, laziness, carelessness, forgetfulness, distraction, and attentiveness. So it wasn't until I started studying the Bardo Thodol that I became introduced to these things. And I'm sharing it to you now because these are motivations for us in this Bardo that we've been talking about, to help us to be able to transform these mental states into the mental state of purity, of Buddha nature, and so on. So some of these words I was not completely familiar with, so I have some definitions here. So dissonant means it's discord, it's out of harmony, it's a dissonant sound, it's something that is discordant. It doesn't fit in to the vibration that we hear or the vibration that we're part of or something like that. It's like a bad note in a musical score. Dissimulation is to hide under a false appearance. So that's very interesting, I think. Dissimulation, to hide under a false appearance. So to me, that means, to put on the guise of being a wise person when you're not a wise person, or being someone who is capable of doing things that others aren't, or something like that. As a human being, to be false.
I remember I remember going to a Dharma talk, and the Lama said that according to the Buddha, one of the worst sins that the average person can commit is to pretend to be more spiritually advanced than they really are.
Maybe so.
Because then you're not
That's
only misleading yourself, you're misleading others as well.
Well, maybe so.
that is considered one of the root violations of the monastic vows is to lie about your spiritual attainments.
So
That's where
this is
that
one
comes
of
from.
those. So this is one of those mental states. So another one is indecorum, poor behavior or etiquette. So, being in a holy place, being among people, and maybe it's not even a holy place. Maybe it's just in a family gathering or wherever, but having poor behavior, poor etiquette, poor courtesy, and so on like that, indecorum. And then the other one is obfuscation, is to darken, to make obscure. Sometimes I think when we are speaking about things that we think we know, but we don't know, or something, we tend to, if we can't, what's the expression? If you can't fascinate them with facts, baffle them with bullshit. That was the a rule that we used to use years ago, in sales, that we say, oh, that's what a lot of people do. And a lot of people would just be talking out of their hat, so to speak, because they needed to sound important. So they just blow you away with a bunch of stuff that may or may not have anything to do with what the topic is. So obfuscation. So I find this very interesting, and I think I sent this to you. I think in one of your envelopes that I sent to you, I printed this, and you can see this. And so I point this out to you. This is why these are elements of what we are working on to be able to purify. Okay, any comments or questions? Okay. Then what I should do is now we're going to go to page where we left off last week was we were talking about the six Buddhist sages of the six human realms. So we left off in the middle of page 33. So if you can go to page 33. And we're now going to talk about the hero awareness holders, or the Vidyadhara. They're called the Vidyadhara. And I'm going to show another thing here. Um, oops. This image here, this is the 42 peaceful deities, which we've been talking about. So in the center is Samantabhadra and Samantabhadri, and then here is the Vajra family. If you can see my cursor moving about, here is the Vajra family, the four deities within, the six deities within this sphere. Then here is the,
Oh, we can't see your screen, Timidorja.
you can't see this?
No, we just see the 20 subsidiary mental
All right,
states.
well then, all right, so I needed to turn this on, I say. Just a moment. Just a moment. Okay. Now can you see this? Can you
Yeah.
see? Okay, so you have this. I know you know in your one of your envelopes, I sent this image to you. These are the 42 peaceful deities.
Wow.
So in the center is Samantabhadra and Samantabhadri. And then here is the Vajra family, the six deities of Vajra family. So these are things that we discussed in our first couple meetings of this Bardo Thodol discussion. This is the Ratna family, the six deities of the Ratna family. This over here is the Padma family, the six deities of the Padma family. Then over here, these are the six deities of the Karma family. And then we talked about the gatekeepers. So here are the four gatekeepers in the four corners here. We spoke about them. And we spoke about and here in the center here, this was Vajrasattva. So the reason why we recite that purification, we're visualizing ourselves as this migrator, as being Vajrasattva, who is on the path to purifying oneself and so on, and confessing, their difficulties and so on like that, the afflictive emotions, the mental misconceptions, and the habitual tendencies. So then here are the six sages that we talked about last time. So here is,
Pema I can't see your cursor on there.
you can't,
Uh-uh.
No.
or can you see the image?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, well, in the center to the left is you can see the Indra Saka, who is playing the veena, who is playing the guitar-like instrument. Do you see that in the center left? Center left?
Yes, I see that.
Yes. And then below him is Vamasitra, is the sage of the demigod realm. Indrasaka is the sage of the god realm. And then over opposite on the right hand side is Shakyamuni, the gold color Shakyamuni of the human realm. And then below him is the Simha. One second. Mm. Stir Simha is the sage of the animal realm. And then down below where Samantabhadra is, on either side of Vajrasattva, you can see there's a red Buddha, and to the right is a dark blue Buddha. So the red Buddha is the sage of the hungry ghost, and that's Valamukha. And then the dark blue is Dharmaraja, the sage Dharmaraja of the hell beings. So those are the six sages that we talked about last time. So you can go back and look at them and in the images that you have. Now I'm zooming in now. Now these are the Vidyadhara. These are the hero awareness holders. And here they are in dancing position. You can see that they are standing, they're in dancing position and so on. And they have the colors of the five Buddha families. Directly above the center here is Samantabhadra again. And then here are two of I don't remember off the top of my head who these two are. I think one's a Sangha and the other one is
Tsongkhapa.
who's that?
Is it Tsongkhapa, perhaps?
Sankapa? I don't think so. It could be, but
No?
um, well, forgive me. I can find out for us next time. I don't have it written in front of me, and I forget myself right now. But the thing that's the most important thing that we're talking about tonight are these hero awareness holders. And they work on these tendencies, these habitual tendencies, we go through a process of recognizing that in our brain, we're creating all these emotions. And these emotions cover our heart. And the heart is where the peaceful deities are. All this would take place in the heart. All these deities, so far, up to this point, are all located in the heart center, figuratively, to be able to help us to understand. And when we are blocked up because of our negativities, of our karma, of our emotions, of our misconceptions, and our habitual tendencies, what we need to do is to be able to clear them away. So let's say, for instance, we've done a pretty good job at clearing away the afflictive emotions. We're pretty stable. We've been able to manage, control over ourselves. And maybe we've become humble in this process, and we've lost our pridefulness, we've lost our arrogance, we've lost our conceit, and so on. So we've been able to humble ourselves in the face of all this wisdom and so on, and we're able to manage, this humility and so on. However, there is still these habitual tendencies that pop up, the ones that I just showed you, for instance, that just pop up in our everyday activities of meeting with family, meeting with friends, being at work, going to the shopping center, going to the food store, whatever it is that we do, these things can pop up when we least expect them. And it's these deities, these hero awareness holders, these Vidyadhara, that help us to work with using their energy to be able to transform these indecorums, these 20 behaviors, states of mind that we go through, and so on. So they're in dancing posture because they're in movement. They're always in movement. It's flowing with things. Things aren't static here. Things are always moving. So I point this out to you now so you get a context for what the next part is to read what it says now in the Bardo Thodol. So I'm going to close this. You have an image of this, I think. If you have that in front of you, it may help you as we go through this. Okay, so go on to page 33 now. So I've lost track of who's recited what and so on, but I want everybody to have a chance in reciting. So I'm just going to go. Larry already recited one thing. I'm going to ask Kunga because he's next on my screen here. Kunga, would you recite through page 35, please? Starting
Till
with
the
Om
till the
Ahum.
till the end of till the first Oa home or through the second one.
Through page 35.
Okay. At this moment, O compassionate assembly of peaceful deities, blessed transcendent ones, beings of compassion, do not withhold your compassion, but draw us forward on the path of radiant rainbow light, which is the four pristine cognitions combined, and draw us back from the path of the dull lights, which are the doors to the six states of impure existence. Om Ah Hum. In the celestial palace of perfect resources within one's own throat, amid its expanse permeated with rainbows and lights, in the center channel, branch of the energy center of perfect resource, is Padmatasavara, the great awareness holder of maturation, red and radiant, glowing in an array of five colored lights and embraced by the Dakini of pristine cognition, their union symbolizing the coalescence of bliss and emptiness. She holds a blood-filled skull and a curved knife, raised in the gesture pointing to the sky. May the awareness holders of Buddha body protect all living beings. Om Ah Hum. In the eastern channel branch of the energy center of the perfect resource, within one throat is the great awareness holder who abides on the levels of white, radiant, smiling, and embraced by the white dakinis. She holds a blood-filled skull and a curved knife raised in a gesture pointing to the sky. May the awareness holders of Buddha's mind protect all living beings. Om Ah Hum. In the southern channel branch of the energy center of the perfect resource, within one's throat is the great awareness holder with power over the lifespan. Yellow, radiant, smiling, and embraced by the yellow Dakini. She holds a blood-filled skull and a curved knife raised in a gesture pointing to the sky. May the awareness holders of Buddha attributes protect all living beings. Om Ah Hum. In the western channel branch of the energy center of the perfect resource, within one's throat is the great awareness holder of the great seal, red, radiant, smiling, and embraced by the red Dakini. She holds a blood-filled skull and a curved knife raised in a gesture pointing to the sky. May the awareness holders of Buddha's speech protect all living beings. Om Ah Hum. In the northern channel branch of the energy center of the perfect resource within one's throat is the great awareness holder of spontaneous presence. Green, radiant, wraithful, smiling, and embraced by the green Dakini. She holds a blood-filled skull and a curved knife raised in the gesture of pointing to the sky. May the awareness holder of Buddha activity protect all living beings.
Okay, very good. So now if you'll turn to, I don't know that I sent you this, so I'm going to put this up. So just a moment. Okay, so now you can see this. I'll show the whole thing here. So this here is the mandala of the hero awareness holders. So the reason why I'm showing this as a separate mandala is because this is centered in the throat. The first was the peaceful deities. They are centered in the heart center. And then the wrathful deities, which we haven't gotten to yet, are centered in the brain, are centered in the head. And these hero awareness holders are centered in the throat. So the throat is indicative of the speech, and the speech is indicative of the activity of the brain, the intellect. So it's through that, through the throat, that these activities are coming out. So the point here is, do we listen to ourselves speak? Do we witness ourselves acting? Are we paying attention to what it is that we do? So the habitual tendencies, these are these things that we do, that we're not necessarily paying attention to, and we need to. So this is centered here for these deities to be able to recognize this. So these deities, let me see here. I need to, just a moment. So these deities here. So what these deities, so here in the center is the blue family. I'm going to use that as an example here. This Vidyadhara is Padma Narteshvara, the hero awareness holder of maturation, is the work there, and the Dakini of pristine cognition, the red Dakini, is his consort, and they are in a dance, and they have the energies of the five lights. So you remember we talked about with the peaceful deities that they each had a light. There was the red light of Amitabha, there was the white light of Vajrasattva Ascobia, there was the blue light of Varanchana, there was the yellow light of Ratnasambhava, and the green light of Amagoga City. So these deities here, these Vidyadhara, they possess the wisdom of all these deities. They have all this within them. And so it's represented in these lights like this. And the Dakini is these Dakinis are the expression of how should I say, of enjoyment, of all the things of phenomena. They see the things of phenomena that are positive, what we might call positive, what we might call negative, and they enjoy it all. Not for its sake of being positive or negative, but seeing it as true nature. The purity that their vision is of pure nature. So they see that, and they are in support of the male deity, who is the attracting the deity, attracting the migrator going through this bardo of reality to be able to help them to be able to recognize their issues, their misconceptions, and so on, and be able to transform them. So this first is the hero awareness holder of maturation. So this is the Vidyadhara Pavanatashvari. So so he would be. Let me see. I need to see this. So then the next one, so this would be in the center. The next one would be in the east, looking at the four uh, quadrants of the wheel of the mandala. So the next one would be the Vidyadhara, the hero awareness holder, who abides on the levels. So who abides on the levels that we see that there are these different levels. You know, we can appreciate that and see that the victor, the hero, because these are hero awareness holders, abides on all the levels simultaneously. But when we first recognize this, we may recognize it from that point of view, but we're not stable in it. You know, so then we see, oh, there are these levels. I need to be able to work at these different things, and we go back to the work of the individual Buddhas and so on to help us to purify. We go back to our normal deity yoga practices in order that we may practice that we may purify that particular energy and so on. So it's but the hero wellness holders are active on all the levels simultaneously. Was somebody trying to say something? Okay. Then this next one, let me just flip this around. So this yellow family, or the Ratna family, here is the hero awareness holder with power over lifespan. The power over lifespan. So this is the awareness holders of Buddha activities. So so as we are able to perfect our purity and so on, the lifespan becomes something that is relative to the phenomenal nature. And these are dancers. They're in this dancing position. They are dancers in this play that we are involved in this phenomenal nature. And they are dancing with the vicissitudes that we go through. And they're not overwhelmed by the vicissitudes. They flow with the changes. And the interesting part is there may be in the beginning a kind of a strict choreography, you know, where they have certain moves that they make with their partner and so on. But then sometimes something happens and they lose balance. And then they move in a direction that was not choreographed for them. But what they're able to do is to be able to include what was a misstep now into their choreography. That accident, that imbalance now became just part of their wisdom, their skillful means of being able to deal with this. So this power over lifespan is like that. You know, it's not a straight road. It is a road that is all encompassing when we reach the crescendo, but in the process there are levels to it and so on. So this lifespan, the levels that we just talked about and so on, we begin to recognize these individual aspects. Just going to go back a second. If anybody has questions, go right. So this awareness holder, when I went to the on the levels, is holders, the awareness holders of the Buddha mind, was the Buddha mind. And then here in the center was the of the Buddha body. So the awareness holder of the Buddha body, the awareness holder of the Buddha mind, then the awareness holder of the Buddha activities. Okay, so then I'm going to move to the next one. So now we're in the Padma family, the red family. This is the awareness holders of Buddha's speech. So this is specifically speech. The yellow one was activities. And the activities we talk about, last time I think we talked about the enlightened activities of pacification, of enrichment, of magnetizing, subjugation, and of challenging. And so,
And Madorja,
yes, sir.
on on my sheet, this has attributes in the yellow and activities in the green.
Well, it does that here too.
Yeah,
Yes,
okay.
yes, it does that too. So let's go through this, and then we'll get
What
into.
the? Can you distinguish between attributes and activity, or are we going to get to that?
Let's get to that. And
Okay.
okay, fair enough question. Okay. So, the yellow one here, got it. So in the yellow one, it said attributes. My mistake. I misspoke. Okay. So I see what you're saying now. I said activities, but it's attributes. So the attributes would be, the way in which it's dancing, the way in which it appears, the implements that it might be using, and so on like that. So the speech here is specific to the activity of speech, the intellectualization of what it is that we're doing. This is the hero awareness holder of the Great Seal. So the Great Seal is the Mahamudra. This is the position, the attainment of that, what we might call peace of mind, of that no thought, of that samadhi, of the king of samadhi, of peacefulness. So this is the awareness holder of the Great Seal. So being able to stabilize that, the awareness holder of the speech. So this would mean, to me, this would mean being able to know when to speak, when not to speak, and if you do speak, why you speak and what it is you say, and if you don't speak, why it is that you don't speak and why it is that what it is that you're not saying. So it is again, this is a human aspect of being able to transform our ordinary impure state into being pure state. So we're going through and purifying these elements. So this is the of the Great Seal. This is the mind of Mahamudra. Then the next one is the awareness holder of Buddha activity. So this is the hero awareness holder of spontaneous presence. So the spontaneous presence is the way in which all this, in its pure aspect, manifests instantaneously and penetrates all things. It is spontaneous presence. There is no time element. There is no space element. It is everywhere, all at the same time. So this Buddha activity represents the manifestation of the body, speech, and mind of the three jewels of the Buddha, that all this is happening for the benefit of all beings all the time. And attaining this level, we have, as an ordinary being, and going through these changes and so on, that we have glimpses of this, glimpse after glimpse after glimpse. And for a time, we may be spontaneously present in that moment of complete purity. But depending on what our karma is, depending on what our distractions are, depending on what our mental misconceptions and so on, we pull ourselves out of it. But yet, that potential is still there. That spontaneous presence is still there. Have we tuned into it? Have we stabilized that being able to be in that moment, and that moment becomes everything that we do. Everything that the Buddhas do with their body, speech, and mind is for the perfection, is for the enlightenment of all sentient beings. That's all they do. That's everything that they do. So we are coming to grips with that. We're coming to work for that. As ordinary beings, we have all kinds of rationalizations why we can't do that, why we don't want to do it, why we're unable to do it, all these different things. But the potential is still there. We still have these abilities. We still have this Vidyadhara, this hero awareness holder, this power, this energy within ourselves. And it's a question of whether we want to engage that and turn that on and become that, And we do that, through the volition of turning that on and then engaging in these different practices and so on to be able to help us to stabilize our position in this, the Mahamudra, to be able to help us to do that. So these Vidyadhara are the dancers that are showing us as we go through life and the vicissitudes and so on, and how it is that we are behaving, that we are able to transform these habitual tendencies into our pure nature of being a Buddha, of being a realized Buddha, being a perfected Buddha. Any comments?
I had a comment. Can
Okay.
you discuss the symbolism of the blood-filled skull and curved knife that each one is holding?
Yes. So Vajrayogini is the mother of all the Dakinis, and all the different male deities, their consort is Vajrayogini, or whatever name they take in that particular relationship with that particular male deity. The female deity is the mother of the Buddhas, the mother of all of this. She gives birth to all of this, is the way in which we think about this. And she sees all of this in its pure nature. She sees that she has given birth to all this progeny, and all this progeny has this pure potential that in our situation has been corrupted. But still, she sees that purity. She witnesses that. So in her right hand, she has the curved knife, the hook knife, which is a flaying knife. They use this to skin an animal or whatever, to be able to have a clothing cloth or whatever like that. So this is used to cut through the afflictive emotions. At some point, we just have to say, I'm going to stop deluding myself. I'm going to stop my desire, my lust, my passions, my attachments. At some point, we have to stop our aggression. We have to stop our hatred and our anger and so on. At some point, we have to stop our jealousy, our envy. We have to stop that. At some point, we have to stop our pridefulness. We have to cut through our arrogance. We have to stop that. At some point, we have to stop well, I already said the hatred, the aggression. So I think I covered the 5 poisons. So the flailing knife like this, the cuts through the roots of those causes of those emotions. And she possesses that. we have that within ourselves. So at some point we have to say, I'm going to be Vajrayogini or whatever Dakini. I'm going to be whatever that consort is and cut through those attachments and so on. That's with her right hand. In her left hand, she's holding a skull cup of Dharma elixir, but more important than that, it is blood. It is offal. It is the entrails. It is, the stuff that holds your organs together inside your body. It's got pus in it. It has urine in it. It has feces in it. It has all these different things that we would deem to be disgusting, and she's drinking it because she has pure enjoyment of all things, of all this phenomenal nature, things that we find to be repugnant and distasteful and crude and coarse and so on. Like, she sees this in its pure nature. And this is what we need to be able to do ourselves. We need to be like that. She holds in the crook of her elbow or her shoulder is the Kadanga, is the staff that represents the five Buddha families, represents the three the body, speech, and mind, the three jewels, represents the male deity. So she always has the male deity with her. He always has the female deity with him because she has given birth to him. So this is the way in which we begin to transform and see ourselves. This is how we overcome our dualistic nature, by seeing the unity, the union of this father and mother aspect, and that we as a spirit have come together with that father and mother, and we make this entity that then becomes a being, that we becomes a migrator and so on. As we are in this bardo of reality, remember, we're coming from the top down. We have ejected from the body. We have ejected from the intellectual mind. At this point, we're pure spirit. And the what we're trying to do is to remain in that bardo of reality and that pure nature. So, so all these tools that we're learning about, we do these things in our practices so that when we attain this liberation, now we can become stable in this liberation and we become a perfected Buddha. Remember, in all these prayers, it says, may I become a perfected Buddha. This is the goal. This is what we want to be. So to put it in, terms, to be, French Buddha, to be Kunga Buddha, to be Bernie Buddha, to be Larry Buddha, to be Lance Buddha, but to take away our individual identity from that and just to become the awakened one and see this all as spontaneously present and see this all as what is here now. When we talk about the ground, the path, and the fruition, in the Dzogchen, they talk about that all the time, that, and when you're on this ground and you realize that there's something that you want to work for, that you want to do something for, you realize that there is a pathway to be able to attain that. And then you get on the path and you're going through all your purification process and so on. And then you finally get to the fruition and you realize you were there the whole time. When you were at the ground, you were there, but it was just soiled. It was covered. It was lost to our being able to recognize the qualities of what it is to be an awakened one, and so on. So the point is that we have this within ourselves. We need to purify it. We go through these processes to do that, and all these are tools to help us to do that. So does that make sense about the Dakini? Because that was a good question, Kunga. And can you see that? Do you recognize that? Have you been introduced to that facet of the philosophy of the Sambhogaya, the mother aspect, and she is the quality of enjoyment, the perfect enjoyment of all things.
No, that's new for me. And I was also curious about it looks like they're both female.
Who was?
The Is that correct?
No, who? What, the Vidyadhara?
It looks like the hero holder is a female. It says she holds a blood-filled skull and a curved knife, and there's also a Dakini there. Are they both females? It looks like they look both
No,
female.
no, he's a male, and she's the female holding the curved knife, and whether he's holding a curved knife or not, he maybe in some cases he is. I don't know. I'd have to look at that. It's not expressed in the explanation here as him holding that, but perhaps he is. Um, Actually, like I'm looking at this now. I'm looking at. Let me go back to this image because this was a pretty good image. And just how literal we can be. Now, he's holding, so this one in the center, he's holding a hook knife, and she's holding a hook knife. Where's her other hand? It's behind his head. Her right hand is behind his head, and because all the dakinis are holding a hook knife. So, and in the left hand, she's holding the skull cup of the offal and so on. And then here in his hand, his left hand, he's holding a skull cup too. Now in this one here, it looks like he's holding a staff here, and he's holding a skull cup as well. And then let's see, in the white one, I can't tell what he's holding. It looks like he's holding maybe a vajra, or maybe he's holding the handle. He could be holding a mirror. Maybe he's holding a mirror. That's a good question. Yeah,
They're just
yeah,
kind of androgynous, I think, in the drawing, so that's why I was confused.
yeah. But there, yeah, that's right. Well, here, he's holding. It looks like he's holding a knife in this hand, and the blue. And here, I can't tell what that is. I'd be guessing to say I knew what that is. So, some of this I found, because I've read a number of these different I've read all the English translations, and I've seen many of the different images. And the images, sometimes are interpreted, by the artists who've been, who have been commissioned to make these drawings, and sometimes they take some liberties and so on, and where they interpret, the way they see things and so on. So I'd have to keep an open mind. None of this is fixed. None of this is permanent. That's one of the things. If we start looking for definitive answers in phenomenal nature, you're going to get lost. It's symbolic of what it is to let go of, to purify and let go. All these things are happening. All this dualistic nature is happening. And what we're trying to do is to purify that by not holding on to it, by not getting angry about it, by not being prideful about it, by not being deluded about it. So all these things are ways or visualizations to recognize how it is that we manifest our confusions. The the subtitle to this group, the Hero Awareness Holders and Consorts, is the natural transformation of the habitual tendencies of the six dissonant states. The habitual tendencies of the six dissonant states. So the six dissonant states are what we talked about before, including the sixth one, which was wrong view. So it was the anger, it was the jealousy, it's the five poisons, and all the different myriad ways in which they manifest. So this is like a refinement. This is a refined element to be able to do this. It's interesting to note that in many of the texts that I've read and references to Chogum Trungpa Rinpoche, who some of you may know, who was a great teacher. If you never met him and all you did was read his books, you'd be so impressed. If you never saw anything about him or never heard anything about his lifestyle, you say, wow, this guy is really something special. He is a great being. But he lived his life by doing all the things that we would call, disgusting or repugnant. He was a drug taker. He was a womanizer. He did all these different things. And some people would say that he was doing these things. He died in early life. He died an early death. And he did these things to demonstrate to his followers of how, despite what he was teaching, these things will kill you. So that may be a rationalization, but he's been referred to as a Vidyadhara. And so many books, so many references to Chogum Trungpa Rinpoche as a Vidyadhara. So you can read into that whatever you want, but it's just an interesting thing to be able to see that. These guys are, are dancers. They're freedom. They're sky dancers. Any other comments or questions that I'll try and answer? Remember, I'm just introducing you to these things, and hopefully you'll take up the study of these things and become the practitioners of this, of the Sambhogagaya. I know some teachers and some of the lineages say, all this has to come through this hierarchy of monasticism and so on. But my teacher says, it's here for everybody all the time. And if you are at this point, you can avail yourself of these teachings, and you should avail yourself of the teachers when you can. But there's always going to be differences in the teachers and so on. So I take that to heart. I find that to be very, very compelling and true to my nature. And so I share that with you for what you think it is. But I don't think that, I think that there is a use for empowerments. I think that's all very, very powerful. The prayers are all very powerful. The practices are very powerful. And to get the instruction from these masters is very important. But it doesn't take the place of your own personal involvement with this. They're showing you how they did it, how these masters did it before them 500 years or 1,000 years or 2,000 years ago. They're showing you that, but it's up to you to be able to bring it into your life and bring it to the clear light of day, so to speak. And everything is much simpler then you would think that it has to be. So now we come to this part on page 36. This is the prayer for this particular section of the Vidyadhara. So, Bernie, would you mind reciting this?
Okay.
So let me see.
Om,
It was, just a
how
moment.
long? How far?
Just a moment. I'm looking. Go to the top of page 38. Read the first few lines, the first three lines of page 38. So from 36 to the top of 38, please.
Okay. Om Ahom. To you, the assembly of awareness holders, the heroes and dakinis, I bow down, make offerings, take refuge, and pray. As soon as we, the deceased, die and begin to transmigrate, at that very moment, when the visions of the intermediate state of reality dawn, and we, the deceased, roam alone in the cyclic existence, driven by the five deep-seated habitual tendencies. May the heroic awareness holders draw us forward, leading us on a path to radiant, multicolored light, which is the luminance of spontaneously arising pristine cognition. May the supreme female consorts, the assembly of dakinis, support us from behind, and thus encircled may we be rescued from the fearsome passageway of the intermediate state and be escorted to the pure fields of the sky bearers. At this time, when we dwell within the intermediate state of living, the assembly of awareness holders, both heroes and dakinis, are radiantly present within the celestial palace of our energy center of perfect resource within our own throats, embodied in the form of a cluster of five colored lights, bright lights. Yet, as soon as we die and begin to transmigrate, the divine assembly of awareness holders will emerge from the throat center and fill the space before us. Amidst a plethora of musical sounds, they will manifest in myriad dancing postures, pounding and vibrating throughout the world's systems of musical sounds, okay, and generating a vibrant, beaming path of bright light indicative of spontaneously arising pristine cognition. Simultaneously, the dull light of the path of the animal realms, indicative of delusion, will also dawn before us. O divine assembly of awareness holders, at that moment do not withhold your compassion, but draw us back from the dull light path, which is the gateway to the deluded animal realms, and draw all beings along the path of bright light, which is the luminance of the spontaneously arising pristine cognition. Seize us with your great compassion, ensuring that we recognize the characteristics of the intermediate state. Empower us so that we may become awareness holders, children of the conquerors.
Thank you. So this is the dynamic dance of phenomenal nature. And this paragraph on the bottom of page 37, it starts simultaneously the dull light path of the animal realms, indicative of delusion, will also dawn before us. So this goes to the question that Kunga asked a couple of weeks ago when he noticed that they were talking about the four lights and the four perfections, but there was a fifth. The female aspect had these five perfections already. But in the case of the male aspect, it was missing one. It was, and this is it. This is the accomplishment. I said that, and it says in the text that it's the accomplishment that we may have these wisdoms, but without the application of these wisdoms, the purification, the engagement of these wisdoms, this doesn't become perfected. So this dull light, this animal dull light, is what pulls us away, and what we have to be able to recognize as the light that leads us away, pulls us away, following these deities together, these hero awareness holders who lead us to this perfection. That becomes the spontaneous attainment that they talk about, the spontaneously arising pristine cognition, the pure light. That is the attainment. So, as I said a moment ago, a little bit ago, we have this glimpse after glimpse. When we do our practice, when we have a moment, when we have that clarity, just like that, but it's unstable. Maybe we've experienced that. But the point is to put those moments together, and that becomes our vision. So if you notice, on page 37, on the left side of the page, is an image. It's a small image. I don't have it queued up to be able to bring it up real quick, but it's an image of Vajrasattva. And as I said, Vajrasattva is the migrator through all this, or is the, we're visualizing ourselves as Vajrasattva. But here, if you can see, in his heart center, he's got the 42 peaceful deities in the heart. Actually, it's the 36 because it doesn't include the Vidyadhara. The Vidyadhara is in the throat. You see that there's a little. It looks like a thyroid. It looks like a what do they call it? An ox
Goiter.
a goiter or something like that. Which is at the throat. So it's U-shaped, and so the Vidyadhara is there, and then at the crown is this big sphere of the 58 wrathful deities that we haven't explored yet. But they're in the brain. So we have these three centers. We have the heart center, we have the throat center, and we have the crown center or the brain center. So that's next is are the fierce deities. To see all those things that clutter up and block up the brain and give the habitual tendencies their causes. So, any comments or questions now? Is there something more that I can provide to help you to understand this? All right. Well, then at this point, then we should chant Om Mani Padme Hum Shri throughout the text. And the thing that I was talking about in the beginning, we're learning the academics, all the component parts of the Bardo Thodol of the Sambhogagaya. But the way in which they all fit together and the way in which this practice works is in the recitation that comes after this. So that's what I was suggesting, do we want to continue with that when we finish this part here, this academic part? And throughout that recitation part is laced the recitation of Om Mani Padme Hum, the 6-syllable mantra, which is the mantra that you all recognize as Avalokiteshvara, Shenrezig, or um, 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 excuse me a second, as some of you guys know what I'm going through is losing my mind sometimes. Um, Sometimes you can even forget your own name. The Lord of Great Compassion, which is Shenrezig, which is Avalokiteshvara, and here the Lord of Great Compassion is Maha Karunika. Is that right, Maha Karunika? No, wait a minute. I'm so sorry. Just a moment.
And Midori, could we also ask everyone turn off their mics when we do the chanting except for you? Otherwise, the audio gets off.
Yes, and I figured out how to do with Garchen Rinpoche. Maha Yeah, Maha Karunika. You know, at some point it all sounds the same. All the 5 lights are there, you know, but the names, you know, it all just seems to run together. So Maha Karunika is the great compassionate one. So the mantra of Maha Karunika is what's run through this, and so we're reciting that mantra for our own benefit, but for the benefit of others, and through the benefit of others, it helps us. So that's why it's important to do that, to establish this. All right, so. Okay. Are you seeing the image here of the Om Mani Padme Hum?
Yes.
Okay. I lost this other image. Wait a sec. Oh, here it is. No, that's not it. Yeah, that's it. Can you hear that? You can hear that?
Yes, sure.
Yes.
Can you all hear that? French, can you hear that?
No, it breaks up, but I I have the loop on my phone and I can listen to it on my cell phone,
All right. Um, Gunga,
but it
can you
breaks up.
hear it clearly?
Well, it's I didn't know if were you starting it or were you just playing it full through there? Did you stop it a couple times?
Yes.
Okay, I could hear it. I think I just heard when you were stopping it.
All right. Let's try it. And let me see here. So, so you can see this image, right? Oh, now I lost that. Sorry. Well, maybe it'd be better to do it this way. You'll have to live with me doing this, but I've been practicing this, and every day I've been reciting this for our friend who passed. So so I think I've got it to a reasonable degree. So if you've got your beads handy, and then you're visualizing the 6 syllables rotating around the seed syllable Shri at the heart center, and the light from each of these 6 syllables is going to the human realms. And so we've discussed that many times. Anybody needs any explanation of that, I can do that. But otherwise, visualize the light going from your heart to the hearts of all these beings, purifying their habitual tendencies, their their mental misconceptions, and their afflictive emotions, and purifying them in the Bardo of reality and all the other Bardos, all simultaneously, all this happening simultaneously. Om Mani Padme Hum Shri. 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 Hong Shri. Om Mani Padme 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 Hum. 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 Om Mani Padme Hum Shri. Om Mani Padme Hum. 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 Om Mani Om Mani Padme Hum. 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 Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum Shri. Take a short dissolution. Visualize the six lights, the six syllables dissolving into the brilliant white, pure, clear Shri syllable at the heart center. And the Shri syllable rising from the bottom to the top, becoming invisible, dissolving into the shunyata, into the emptiness. Take a deep breath and hold it. Exhale and hold it. Stay relaxed and breathe normal. Turn to page 207. Patch, will you recite the aspirational prayer which rescues from the dangerous pathways, please?
Yes.
And then I'll recite the last prayer, the fears that on the aspirational prayer would protects from the fear of the intermediate states. So, French, when you're ready, please begin.
Yes, thank you. The aspirational prayer which rescues from the dangerous pathways of the intermediate states. I bow down to the spiritual teachers, meditational deities, and dakinis. May I be guided on the path of their great love. Oh, as I roam in cyclic existence driven by deep-seated bewilderment, may the spiritual teachers, holders of the oral lineages, draw me forward, leading me on the path of radiant, clear light, which is undistracted study, reflection, and meditation. May the supreme consorts, the hosts of dakinis, support me from behind, and thus encircled may I be rescued from the fearsome passageway of the intermediate state, and be escorted to the level of an utterly perfect Buddha. Oh, as I roam in cyclic existence driven by deep-seated delusion, may the transcendent Lord Vairocana draw me forward, leading me on the path of radiant blue light, which is the pristine cognition of reality's expanse. May the Supreme Consort, Akasadhattvishvari, support me from behind, and thus encircled may I be rescued from the fearsome passageway of the intermediate state, and be escorted to the level of an utterly perfect Buddha. Oh, as I roam in cyclic existence, driven by deep-seated aversion, may the transcendent Lord Vajrasattva Akshobhya draw me forward, leading me on the path of radiant white light, which is the mirror-like pristine cognition. May the Supreme Consort, Buddha Lokana, support me from behind, and thus encircled, may I be rescued from the fearsome passageway of the intermediate state and be escorted to the level of an utterly perfect Buddha. Oh, as I roam in cyclic existence driven by deep-seated pride, may the transcendent Lord Ratnasambhava draw me forward, leading me on the path of radiant yellow light, which is the pristine cognition of sameness. May the Supreme Consort, Mamaki, support me from behind, and thus encircled, may I be rescued from the fearsome passageway of the intermediate state and be escorted to the level of an utterly perfect Buddha. Oh, as I roam in cyclic existence driven by deep-seated attachment, may the transcendent Lord Amitabha draw me forward, leading me on the path of radiant red light, which is the pristine cognition of discernment. May the Supreme Consort, Pandaravashini, support me from behind, and thus encircled, may I be rescued from the fearsome passageway of the intermediate state and be escorted to the level of an utterly perfect Buddha. Oh, as I roam in cyclic existence, driven by deep-seated envy, may the transcendent Lord Amoghasiddhi draw me forward, leading me on the path of radiant green light, which is the pristine cognition of accomplishment. May the Supreme Consort, Samayatara, support me from behind, and thus encircled, may I be rescued from the fearsome passageway of the intermediate state and be escorted to the level of an utterly perfect Buddha. Oh, as I roam in cyclic existence, driven by the 5 virulent poisons, may the transcendent conquerors, the male Buddhas of the 5 enlightened families, draw me forward, leading me on the path of radiant rainbow light, which is the 4 pristine cognitions combined. May the 5 supreme female Buddhas, the purity of the expanse, support me from behind, and thus encircled, may I be rescued from the light paths of the 6 impure classes of beings and be escorted to the 5 utterly supreme and pure Buddha fields. Oh, as I roam in cyclic existence driven by deep-seated habitual tendencies, may the assembly of spiritual heroes and awareness holders draw me forward, leading me on the path of radiant multicolored light, which is co-emergent, pristine cognition. May the Supreme Consorts, the hosts of Dakinis, support me from behind, and thus encircled, may I be rescued from the fearsome passageway of the intermediate state and be escorted to the level of an utterly perfect Buddha. Oh, as I roam in cyclic existence, driven by deep-seated, bewildering perceptions, may the assembly of blood-drinking, wrathful, fierce deities draw me forward, leading me on the path of radiant rainbow light, which is free of fear and terrifying perceptions. May the assembly of the Krodeshvari, queens of the expanse, support me from behind, and thus encircled, may I be rescued from the fearsome passageway of the intermediate state and be escorted to the level of an utterly perfect Buddha. Om, Ah, Hum. May the fields of the 5 elements not arise as a hostile force. May I see them as the fields of the 5 Buddhas. May the elements of space not arise as a hostile force. May I see them as the field of the blue Buddha. May the elements of water not arise as a hostile force. May I see them as the field of the white Buddha. May the elements of earth not arise as a hostile force. May I see them as the field of the yellow Buddha. May the elements of fire not arise as a hostile force. May I see them as the field of the red Buddha. May the elements of wind not arise as a hostile force. May I see them as the field of the green Buddha. May the awesome sounds, lights, and rays not arise as a hostile force. May I see them as the infinite fields of the peaceful and wrathful deities. May the rainbow-colored elements not rise up as a hostile force. May I see them as the fields of the manifold Buddhas. May I recognize all sounds as my own sounds. May I recognize all lights as my own lights. May I recognize all rays as my own rays. May I spontaneously recognize the characteristics of the intermediate states. May the fields of the three Buddha bodies be manifest. Samaya.
The aspirational prayer which protects from fear of the intermediate states. When my life's course is ended and I roam alone in the intermediate states, the loved ones of this world can no longer help me. So at this critical time, may the conquerors, the peaceful and wrathful, fierce deities, quickly release the power of their compassion, and may the deep darkness of my ignorance be dispelled. When I roam alone, separated from my loved ones, and myriad images of emptiness arise, naturally manifesting, may the Buddhas quickly release the power of their compassion, and may the fear of the awesome and terrifying intermediate state be annulled. When the five radiant lights of pristine cognition dawn, may I recognize them as my own nature, and without awe and without terror, and as the manifold forms of the peaceful and wrathful, fierce deities arise, may I be fearlessly confident and recognize the characteristics of the intermediate states. When I experience suffering as the result of negative past actions, may the great compassionate one dispel all such misery. And as the natural sound of reality reverberates like 1,000 peals of thunder, may all sounds be heard as the teachings of the greater vehicle. When I am driven on by past actions, unable to find a refuge, may the meditational deities dispel all such misery. And as I experience the suffering of habitual tendencies and past actions, may the meditative stabilities of inner radiance and bliss naturally arise. When I am miraculously born into the intermediate state of rebirth, may I not be beguiled by the perverse prophecies of Mara. And as I freely arrive at every place that I think of, may the bewildering fear and terror generated by my negative past actions not arise. When the roars of savage wild beasts echo around me, may their cries be transformed into the sound of the sacred teachings, the 6 syllables, Om Mani Padme Hum. And as I am engulfed by snow, rain, wind, and darkness, may I achieve the pure clairvoyance of radiant, pristine cognition. May sentient beings in the intermediate state, similar in kind to myself, be born into the higher realms, free from rivalry. And as, and as severe, dissonant mental states generate insatiable hunger and thirst, may the afflictions of hunger, thirst, heat, and cold be annulled. When I see my future parents in union, may I perceive them as Maha Karunika and consort, and for the sake of others being blessed with the power to choose a birthplace, may I achieve an exalted body adorned with the auspicious major and minor marks. Once I have achieved birth in a supreme human form, may I act so as to swiftly liberate all who see and hear me. And may I not be influenced by my negative past actions, but multiply and emulate my past merits. Wherever I may be born, in whatever land it may be, may I quickly encounter the meditational deity of my past lives, knowing from immediately after birth how to speak and walk. May I remember my past lives and attain the power of non-forgetfulness. May I easily come to master by study and reflection the manifold stages of learning, small, intermediate, and great. May the country into which I am born be auspicious, and may all sentient beings be blessed with happiness. O peaceful and wrathful, fierce conquerors, may I and all others become entirely at one with you, and come to resemble you in all your forms, your retinues, your lifespan, and your Buddha fields, and in every quality of your supreme auspicious marks. Through the compassion of Samantabhadra, and the infinite peaceful and wrathful fierce deities, by the power of the truth of pure reality, and by the blessing of the mantrans who practice one-pointedly, may every wish of this aspirational prayer be fulfilled. Samaya. Mangalam, Sri Zala Zamvupipa, Alankar Bhavantu, Sarvamo. Mangalam, Sri Zala Vipa, sorry, Mangalam Sri Zala Vipa, Alankara Bhavantu. By the virtue of this Dharma work, may all sentient beings be free from the suffering and attain enlightenment. May all beings and activities be auspicious for the benefit of the enlightenment of all sentient beings. Sarva Mangalam. Om. Ah. Hum.
Om.
Om. Ah. Hum.
Om.
Om. Ah. Hum. May my body, speech, and mind
Mind.
become inseparable with the body, speech, and mind of all the enlightened ones for the benefit of all sentient beings. Thank you, brothers. Thank you, everybody on YouTube. Any comments or questions? Okay, well, thank you. We'll see you next week, and we'll continue, and we go into the next part, which is the wrathful, fierce deities in the brain, and we'll see how they rescue us from suffering in samsara. Thank you. Have a good night.
Good night.
Good night.